All right. What's up, Cheddar Champs? This is Frank Denbow reporting live from Nessie HQ. I'm here with Mr. Carmine Gallo, author of Talk Like TED, one of the books in our business communications course. So, want to say what's up? How you doing?
Oh, Frank, hey, thank you. And just my all of my best wishes to all the business students at Strayer University who are taking the MBA class and digital entrepreneurship. This is just really exciting. You are the type of students who I write for. So I'm very grateful.
Do you have any maybe quick tips or words of advice on communicating? A lot of the entrepreneurs, from judging from the Facebook group, are doing kind of online brands. They're doing e-commerce, and a lot of what your work is about is storytelling
Yep.
and public speaking. The book on Steve Jobs, the book Talk Like TED, obviously, and others. Do you have any advice for that specific market? Because I think a lot of our entrepreneurs would be interested in your thoughts there.
Your value is locked up in your ideas. In the 21st century knowledge economy, you are only as valuable as your ideas. If you cannot communicate your ideas effectively, you will not be nearly as successful as you could be. And so that's why I think that understanding communication skills and how communication really hasn't changed all that much over thousands of years is fundamentally important to your success. Just keep something in mind. Technology has changed. We're on Facebook. You're using PowerPoint. PowerPoint is only 30 years old. The human mind is millions of years old. So the way our brains evolve to process information, at least over the last several 100,000 years, hasn't changed much at all. And that's why it's very important to understand that things like storytelling are critical, because that's how we think. We think in story. Our brains are wired for story. We talk in story. We like to watch stories on TV or in movie theaters. And we like to receive our information in story form. And that's why when I wrote Talk Like TED, most of the great speakers on a TED stage or on a corporate stage are often great storytellers. Communication, storytelling, they're interwoven.
Yeah. And we have a final assignment. We actually had an assignment due today, which was to write our thought leadership piece, which I submitted at 8, I think it was 8:58 for the 9 o'clock submission. So just got it in. And the students are going to take that and create, their TED style talk. Do you have any, since you wrote that book, I'm sure you've had some new insights or thoughts that might still be applicable, especially in the COVID-19 time now that we're dealing with, to communicate effectively. Do you have any thoughts on that that you can provide for the team?
Well, remember, there is a great structure to every story. Every great presentation has to fall under some kind of structure or formula. I hate to use the word formula too often, Frank, because people think that, a formula is kind of contrived. Well, not really. All successful movies follow a similar formula. Yet within the formula, you can do a lot of creative things. And so even TED Talks or great presentations have similar structures. So I would recommend that you look for structures. Specifically, when you're giving a presentation of any type, whether it's virtual, digital, in person, the reason why I broke my TED book into 3 parts is because there's 3 great structures to any good presentation. Any persuasive presentation has to be emotional, novel, and memorable. And you'll see that in the TED book. Emotional, novel, and memorable. You can have the best facts, the greatest data. You can make a logical appeal to reason. But if you cannot connect with people on an emotional level, you will ultimately not be as persuasive as you otherwise could be. And that's why we talked about storytelling. That's why stories are the best vehicle we have to transfer emotion from one speaker to another. So emotion is number one. And you can do that through PowerPoint as well. You can create emotional connections with people. Second is novelty. That takes a little bit more of an explanation, which is why I had to write a book on it. So I won't make it too complicated, but it does get more involved. Novelty simply means that people want to be surprised. They want to learn something new. If everything you say, if you use the same jargon, the same language, the same way of communicating a product, a service, or an idea as somebody else or your competitor, then you're not standing apart. Novelty is how can you deliver information in a way that's different, that's unusual, that's surprising. And the third element of all persuasive communication is memorable. If you communicate information in a way that is so confusing and convoluted that I can't really grasp it, it's unclear and unmemorable, then it's still not going to be effective. And that's why there's a number of different techniques that I talk about which fall under this whole idea of making things easy to remember. One tip in particular that I want to give all the students today, the rule of three. The rule of three is the most fundamental persuasion tactic of all time. It simply means that in short-term memory, we only can remember about three things or three key messages. So if you want to sell me on an idea, give me three reasons why your idea is going to improve my life or why I should back your startup or your company. If you give me 28, then I've lost it all. Give me three. So the rule of three, there's actually entire books written on the rule of three, but I go into it in a lot of great TED Talks are broken up into three. But anyway, emotional, novel, memorable. If you can just remember those three things, you'll go a long way.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you talking to all my fellow students. What do you think? Do you think my professor should give me some extra credit for this video? I'm thinking like 100 extra points, something like that.
Frank, I think it shows initiative.
You know,
I'm with
that's
you.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Best grade in the class.
My man. My man. Thank you so much, Carmine. See you later, Cheddar Champs. Take care.
Thanks.
Awesome. They're going to love that.